Hello, this is Kenneth 14621, and just another rant I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and make this one about what the heck is going on. Okay. So, anyways, let's talk about these statues. Okay. Now, people who think they know everything never talk about things like these because these are things that really nobody knows about. They like to stay in the little comfortable area of everything they know, so people continue to think that they know everything. So you have these great scientists who never even talk about this. But so I'm going to talk about it since you never hear about it. Okay, there is a island out in the middle of the Pacific. Okay, and there are these huge statues on it. They're like a statue of a face, right? But they're like, bigger than the biggest boulder I've ever seen. I mean, they're humongous. And anyways, though, and they're like specifically aligned in a certain alignment, and so they do dating nowadays, okay? And like the dating, it's precise, man. I mean, if they say this was made at a certain date, there's like no doubt it was made at that date. There's no doubt they've been doing it for years, you know. So uh, they dated these statues to be made 30 to 50,000 years ago. Now that was back before they even had boats. You know, I mean, not very many people even had boats, if any. And they say that the time that these were created, man on Earth did not have the technology to move these into place or to chisel them the way they were chiseled. Back then, they chiseled with a a pick and a stump and a hammer. That's not the way these were chiseled. Okay, so they theorized that. Now this might get a little crazy. I'm saying what they say. Okay, I'm not saying this is what I think, but they say that possibly there was an advanced life form back then, like an alien, that may have landed on Earth and made those statues, put those there. Okay, or they had some, and in nowadays with our technology now, the only way we could make those are with these huge cranes that they use to make skyscrapers. That is the only thing capable of lifting that much weight. We barely even have the technology to do this today, to move something that heavy. And it was done that long ago. And, but people like to blow it off and say, oh, those are crackpots that think that. But that's because they can't explain it. If you look at the chiseling, it was not chiseled with the types of things that they chiseled with back then. We don't even know what they chiseled with back then. That's how long ago it was. And so I don't know. Anyways, it was made thousands of years ago before they had the technology to do it, and it's a very interesting thing to look at. I don't know what the name of the island is. I don't know if it's Patmos or maybe I'm thinking of the Bible, but I don't know what the name of the island is. But it's right in the middle of the Pacific. I mean, and back then, you know, to our knowledge, no one had sailed that far. They didn't even have boats like that back then. So. But anyways, though, you know, and you can find this online, or the best way to find it. It's one of the most recently played. I mean, I've seen it several times. They play it a lot on Ancient Aliens. So one weekend they're showing reruns of Ancient Aliens. Get on there and watch it and see if that's what they talk about. They're huge statues and they are in the shape of a face. I mean, they don't look like a normal face, really. I don't think, but That's just one thing right there that people can't explain. I mean, the experts can't explain. Your average person might ramble off, oh, well, it's because of this and it's because of that. And that makes sense to you, but if they're not an expert, how can you listen to what they say? And if the experts say, we don't know how they did it, then really, truly, nobody knows how they did it. So anyways, though, that's just one thing. And really, some people at NASA say, and a lot of people believe at NASA, we've been exploring Mars now for like, over 10 years, so we've had rovers up there, and they say Mars shows that it's had signs of life, so it shows that there was life there before, so you know and the planets rotate around the sun now. If you tell somebody this, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's horribly wrong."